Hi, ITZY Society. Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we're getting into the rest of ITZY's Girls Will Be Girls album. I'm so excited. We only have 3 songs left, but you know what? I bet it's going to be great. The vibe of this album so far, just like the little snippets that I got to hear of the preview, the teasers, right? And then also just the first 2 songs. I'm loving the vibe. So I'm excited to have 3 more songs I'm going to listen to on repeat until it's like a little bit of a problem. But you know what? It's a sacrifice that someone has to make. And if it has to be me, so be it. Now, I said this in my last ITZY reaction, but I'll say it again, just in case, right? I don't know when people are seeing my stuff, but I understand these are lyric videos, and I understand that means that they may not be the most accurate in who's singing what and what they're singing about, okay? It's totally fine, right? The point is for me to be able to listen to the songs and get an idea of what the song is about. That's it. That's why we're here, okay? I could just listen to the audio of the songs, but it wouldn't help me fully process what the song was about. And as someone who already has some difficulties with like processing words, it's just easier for me. It's just easier, and I take it with a grain of salt. So it's gonna be fine. Look at these pictures from their Girls Will Be Girls video. This, you know, she doesn't need to be like full action movie star, but here we are. Anyway, locked and loaded. I'm too excited. Okay, deep breath. Not what I was expecting to have, like a little bit of a more subdued sound, especially given the first 2 songs that we have this album. But I think also if it's like the middle mark of the album, it makes sense for it to be something that's a little bit of a different vibe so far, more like minimal in the production. Love some of the vocal fry that we're getting, the way that they're playing with their voices. Love the sentiment too of just, again, some of the stuff that they've talked about in this album, right? Like Girls Will Be Girls, playing off some of the expectation, like kiss and tell, right? This idea of people having all of these ideas of who they are, and it's like, we're not though. Like you can have all your assumptions, but it doesn't change the fact that we are who we are and we're true to who that is. I like this idea of like creeping up on you, right? Like almost like you don't know that they're coming out of the woodwork or that they're winning you over or whatever, right? Like we had a bit of that in Kiss and Tell of you do actually like me, you just can't admit it. So it has a little bit of that, like the accept it, right? Accept that you're falling for me, that you enjoy my stuff, that like you're a fan, like just accept that because you keep talking about me. You're very interested, which I always find interesting of people who are like, I hate this group. I'm like, you spend a lot of time and energy and emotion on a group that you claimed to not like. Groups that I don't like, I just don't listen to them. Like they just don't exist as far as I'm concerned because I'm too busy enjoying the groups that I actually like. So I think you might be a fan. I think you're just upset about it. I like the way she softens out of whispers too. The laugh. I don't need that. Gorgeous. With that bass too. Do not go into rapper mode, okay? I love the more like minimal kind of like industrial sound that we're getting. I talked to like a little bit like the preview. I'm like, that it has this kind of like mechanical sound to it, right? Something that sounds a little bit more industrial because of like lock and loaded, right? So many things. Okay, I love how it all slowed into this ballad almost sounding in that pre-chorus. I think that's gorgeous, especially with this like heavy bass still going through it. So it contrasted with the upper range that we were getting beautifully. And also just shows off that they've got some great vocals in this group. I love the set me off. Come meet your maker is like a wild line to say of I'm just waiting for a reason to pull the trigger. And I see that a lot as luring somebody in, right? Of being like, hey, you're like on the edge of admitting that you actually are a fan, that you actually love what I'm making and like the music that I'm putting in the performance and stuff. You're so close. Just give me a signal and I can pull you in the rest of the way. Like, just let me know. And even meet your maker, you can see that is like the 2 sides of that. Of if you say someone meets their maker, if they like pass away or something, or like something happens to them, but it could also be like almost this like deity imagery with them as well, right? Like they have the crown imagery that's always with them, right? There's this little bit of all the confidence, so they have all the self-confidence in this, so it has a little bit of that like deity god imagery with them as well, which I think is really fun. Ooh, and I love that it just grooves too. Like it's not like this huge in your face, because that's not the point. It's come to me, just let me know when you feel like admitting that you actually really like the stuff that I'm making, and I'll be right there. I'm devil whispering in your ear, of coaxing, tempting you over. So I love that it just has this very like gentler groove to it compared to the like 2 previous songs on this album.
I'm about to go off like a new missile. 뭐든 가는 상다 열어두고서 everything I do, bring a thing is through. 어차피 하나는 진보야 모든 만들 시가 원하는 모양은 이제 시간 먹은 감이라는 거. Think you got me? Let's try but you never. And we're standing.
I'm gonna need a second. I'm gonna need a second with what was just thrown at me there. It's someone who always biases rappers. I need you to not come at me like that. Feel the flame, feel the sizzle is crazy. And then you rhyme sizzle with missile. That took me out. And then it kept adding on, which is kind of the point, right? Like it was like, oh, my brain is trying to process, and they're like, keep moving, we're still moving on, we can still prove that we got more. Leaving every door of possibility open is also like a great image, right? There's so many possibilities. I'm not gonna close any doors, especially with bringing people in, right? There's so many parts so far in this album with the lyrics of them talking about bringing people into their orbit, or people being in denial about being fans. I'm thinking of like Kiss and Tell, right? Where it's, I'm not gonna close the door and say, oh, you're just like a hater, like you're just somebody who doesn't like my music, I'm not even gonna bother with reaching you. It's, if you're putting in that much effort and that much attention, you like me, right? And if you don't, you're just like in denial of the talent that's here. So I love that it's this idea of pulling people in and not being like closed off and all of that. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not as well. They've had that in their lyrics lots of times, but like specifically in this album, the I bloom from the dark also, and I'm like, mind games again, like they're taking on this like darker side of this. One got me. The denial you cling to, now I chew it up, is a crazy, again, like the denial of being like, you're in denial of not liking my music, or that I don't have the talent, or whatever it may be, whatever it is that's like keeping you at a distance from what I'm doing. It's like, I'm gonna storm in, I'm going to convince you that you're wrong. I feed off of that, like the denial and the energy and the attention that you're giving me, right? It's like I was saying with Kiss and Tell as well. It's all attention, right? Like it's all going to make my name more important, right? It's gonna make my name more well known. It's going to add to my career because you keep talking about me, regardless of what light it's in. People are gonna know my name. And same kind of like image of I'm gonna chew on it, not only as like I'm gonna wear down that denial. It might not happen right away, but I'm gonna eventually wear down that denial, and I'm gonna pull you in. It's just a matter of time. But also feeding them, right? Of every time you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna prove to you that I can. While I don't think anyone needs me to say that I love this group, but like I love that it's like completely different vibe from some of the other songs that we've got, like the 2 other songs we've got in this album. And I like it's leading into some of that darkness of, you want to make me the villain? Fine, I'll lean into it. I'll be the villain. I'll be the devil on your shoulder, whispering to you, tempting you, pulling you to this side. Fine, I'll do exactly that if that's what you want.
I'm about to go off like a new missile. 뭐든 가는 상다 열어두고서 everything I do, bring a thing is through. 어차피 하나는 진보야 모든 만들 시가 원하는 모양은 이제 시간 먹은 감이라는 거.
The delivery too. Ugh. And they just give us vocals. Ooh, I love the like reverb on that too. I know I'm interrupting, but it sounds like it's through almost like a megaphone, which I also really like, that it's like you're like outside, like signaling the charge, right when you say I'm storming. Give me a guitar moment. Yes. Like full guitar solo. I love that there's a guitar solo for one. It's just someone who's a rock fan. Someone who loves rock music. That makes me happy. But also there better be like a dance break or something there. I just feel like a missed opportunity if there isn't. But I really like that as well. Especially, again, continuing the story of the previous two songs. But I also think it's interesting to have it in the middle of an album because if you're going to listen to a B-side, I think you're a fan, right? If you hear the song, it's because you've put in the time and energy to go and listen to it, right? It's not like listening to a single. It's not like it's something that they're probably going to be performing on like an award show and you're just like forced to watch it, right? Like it's not going to be one of those songs that is just around all the time that you can be annoyed by because you have to listen to it all the time, right? If you're saying you don't like ITZY and you've heard the song, I think you might need to do some searching. I think there's some strong denial happening because you can't just stumble across the song. So I think that fits well with the meaning of the song too, to have it as something that's like the middle of this album, to be like, you got this far. It's probably because you're a fan. And love the industrial sounds of it. I love that it has a bit of a more laid back groove to it. Again, because I don't even have to try. Like I'm in standby until you decide to admit that you actually like my stuff. I'm waiting for the moment when you tell me it's time to pull the trigger, right? So I think that's also really in line with what the song's about. I think they had such fun deliveries with their vocals as well. Gorgeous vocals at certain points as well. Love the like rap moments that we got in that second verse, just as someone who always ends up biasing rappers. And some great lyricism in it too, again, with a grain of salt in the translations, but I think that it had some really great moments and I really loved it. I'm so excited. I think it set up perfect. It was like a nice like way of easing into some of what I think the rest of this album's gonna be. Promise. Now, if I remember the little teaser preview, I think this one I was like, it might be a bit more on the sweeter side. I might be proven wrong, but given the title, I just feel like it might be more sentimental. Also, the fact that they just gave us these ethereal looks, wild. For what? You know what I mean? Anyway. Yeah, this is giving sentimental. Almost like OST though. You know what I mean? Gorgeous lower part of her range. Okay, all of them given vocals, but I love that we had a gorgeous lower range being shown off with like the first part of the verses going into like, before like the pre-chorus stuff. I think that it adds to some of the sentimentality, right? Like it's a little bit of a more accessible range because it sounds a little bit more conversational, right? It sounds a little bit more like talking than before. I like that we opened up with some piano instrumentation first too, like easing us into the song and then switching into some of those like higher notes as we're getting this like lift of you were there when I needed you to be. We get this lift in their voices and in the instrumentation. I think that really fits with it, right? Like the more somber sound that we get with the lower part of the range as opposed to some of the lift once you get into a bit more of the like middle part of their voice, right? The snaps too. Soft knitted voice is beautiful. Wait. I got chills with those vocals. Haunting, beautiful. Love having all those layers there. Love just that walk up in the melody and then everything softens out for will you be my light, like this request, this promise, but also light having that lighter sound there. And again, like some more sincerity because you can't hide behind any of the instrumentation. There's a lightening up of the voice so that it's a little bit more vulnerable. Gorgeous performances from all of them. Just beautiful. Like I think I'm getting to that point where like I've always liked ITZY's music. I still need to learn a little bit more about their personalities. I know I need to do some more like personality stuff, behind the scenes things. I'm getting to that point where I'm like, obsession is right there. You know what I mean? Like where I pass the point of a new layer of being down the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? Where you're like, yeah, I like their music. I really enjoyed listening to it. I'm listening to it on repeat. And then you hit like a different level and you're like, oh no, oh, this is going to be costly. I could feel it right there with ITZY. I'm like, I think I'm like one more music video or something away from just being like, here I am. But just such beautiful performances from them. Like, I think that this just shows off so much of the ranges that they have within this group, the control of some of those more like full sounds, some of those lighter sounds. Beautiful. A little cry in the voice too. Gorgeous. I like the vocals like faded back and then they pull it forward more. The whole idea of if I call out I love you, will there be an answer? I think that's just such a vulnerable thing too, of being like, again, promise and like being there for someone. But also I think there's always that feeling of hesitancy of if I admit how important this is to me, and not only to myself, but externally, right, to this other person, it also means that like I'm setting up more of that vulnerability. It is more vulnerable to admit that something is important. And if you don't get an answer, what do you do with that? Like, how do you manage showing that vulnerability and not having it returned in kind? So I think it's just something like gorgeous and a little bit heartbreaking and stuff about that one. And then the strength behind her voice as we continued forward, and this idea of going back to previous conversations or like first meetings or like first impressions. I think that's also interesting to be like sentimental of how something started and how did you end up in this place where like you feel differently about someone. I'm assuming it's like either to each other as like a group or like between them and their fans. I'm assuming that's what this is. Also like a little bit more universal. It could be like lots of different things. But again, like when you look around, you realize how important something is to you and you're like, oh wait, when did that happen? This promise you didn't even fully realize you were making in a lot of ways, right? Before you just realize how important someone is to you. I like the wind stopping, like the calm. Oh, okay. I want to listen to that build again because we had some more added to it, and I love that too. That build was gorgeous. And all the layered vocals. I feel like I need a lighter. The way that she lightened up her voice and then we had the little vocal run down. Beautiful. Vocal melody. Okay, no, just go back. First for that the vocal melody that I already got chills. And then that belt with just like the reverb on the end, you just like, let it breathe out. No, okay. I'm gonna need a second. Beautiful held note. Ad lib. That heavy drum coming in, too. Ad lib. Beautiful. Not just in the way that it showed off so much of their vocals. Like I was saying, like range in terms of just the lower ranges that we got, the higher ranges that we got, but also the control of having some of those lovely, dark, heavier sounds and then those really light, vulnerable sounds. I think that they did so well with that. Belting note was actually Genji. Again, I'm starting to be able to recognize some of their voices a little bit better, especially as I work through more of their solo stuff. Like I've done, I think, solo songs for all of them except Yuna when her birthday comes up. So I'm getting like a little bit better at recognizing their voices, but not perfect. But gorgeous belting note there. I think, again, in contrast to some of the vulnerable, like very like breathy, thin, light sounds that we got. And all these like beautiful layered vocals, which I think just show such a collective. I really feel like the song could, I feel like it applies to like them, obviously like fans too, of being like, we'll stay together, but like it also feels like a kind of promise between them and them sticking together. And I think that having those moments of these layered vocals is really showing some of that coming together. I just wanted to look at this line where it's like, you believe in me more than I do. Some gorgeous harmonies layered on that. And it feels like that's like them supporting that vocal. It's just that it's Chaeyoung. I feel like it is from just listening, but I don't know. Again, I'm self-conscious about it right now. Okay. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like 100% sure I know their voices, but I'll get there. But just, it sounds like the harmonies are just like supporting that vocal. And I think that it fits so well with the meaning of that, of people believing in you and lifting you up and being the support system for you. So it's just a gorgeous song from them. I love that it has a very like sentimental but uplifting vibe to it. And I like that there's a little bit of insecurity in it in some ways too. If I want to make a promise, but if I say, I love you, will you say it back? I know the answer, but I still want to hear it. There's like not bad insecurity, right? Not like a toxic insecurity. It's just like, I want to be able to express how important this is to me. And I appreciate when you express it back. And I think that's what a lot of like relationships are, whether or not that's like friendships or even like getting support from fans and stuff. Like it means a lot to be singing stuff and have people like singing along and cheering for you, like the energy that you get from a live performance. I think especially for a group that like had a little bit of success and then pandemic stuff happened, right? Like things shut down and they couldn't perform in front of live audiences. It must have been really difficult because like you lose that connection of being able to have that energy of people who support you in real time, right? And they had to do a lot of stuff that was just putting it out into the ether and then you have to wait to see what the response is going to be, as opposed to like real-time feedback that you can use and adjust to. That's why some of the best performers are the ones who have done the most hours performing live. And it's not just because you have to train really well to sustain that, but it's also because like you learn what works and what doesn't, because you get that real-time feedback that you can adjust to in real time. Maybe I'm saying that as someone who used to perform on stages. It's just like, it's useful, right? You can have all the scripts and rehearsals and everything that you possibly can have, but if you are going for a comedic beat and nobody laughs, you have to pivot in the middle of a performance, right? And that's something that you just get better at the more that you do it. So I'm sure that it was really difficult to feel that disconnect between them and their fans, especially from checking out the guide. It seems that they very much want to maintain that connection and do their best to be like as candid as they possibly can, obviously within like certain limits of just like privacy, right? But they try to be as candid as they can because they want to have that connection with their fans. They don't want to have that mask between them and who's supporting them. So it must have been really difficult to go through all of that. But just such a beautiful song. I love the way that all their voices blended together and some really heavy drums in it, which I think just fits really well with this kind of heartbeat and like steady rhythm throughout the rest of it, which is just really gorgeous. Walk. This might be the one that I'm the most excited for after the teaser. Mostly because there have been so many ITZY songs where I'm like, this is going to be perfect, but I go on walks and I'm right. Okay. ITZY's a staple when I'm going out, just walking around, because I want that confident strut. All right. I want that don't talk to me energy as an introvert. Okay. I want to walk like people aren't expensive enough to talk to me. But I think that this was going to be so fun. I think it's just going to like lift up some of the energy of after that like sentimentality, again going through the different phases of this album of Girls Will Be Girls, a bit of like power moment and being true to yourself, and then Kiss and Tell is I'm going to keep being who I truly am. I know who I am, you don't. Keep talking about me though if you want to. I know who I am, I know what my true self is, and I'm not going to be ashamed of that. And then Locked and Loaded being like, I think you're more of a fan than you think. I think you're just on the edge, and whenever you need somebody to coax you over to our side, just let me know. And then Promise being like more of that genuine vulnerability and gratitude for the people that have supported you throughout the way, throughout everything that they've done. So I feel like this might be a little bit more of a bookend of some confidence, maybe. I don't know. Ooh, the mixing. No. Wait, I'm saying I think icy, right? But these cheers feel like kisses. Crazy. That's such a good image of, again, like the cheers are like showing like gratitude and showing like admiration and everything. And like at the end of the day, a lot of it just like blends together, right? If the cheers are loud enough, are you going to hear like a couple of people who are like booing you, or like a couple of people who are saying like they don't enjoy what's happening? I'm sorry, there's too much noise for me to hear that. There's too much like admiration for me to hear all that. And like that, so what if they talk? Right? So what? Who cares? Love it. Love the confidence. And I love that we're getting some like breathiness from them and some of that like vocal fry, like some fun, confident sounds. Like they're not trying to like belt the notes or have like super powerful vocals that just overtake all the instrumentation. Again, they're just like sitting comfortable in the production. And I think that fits so well with the confidence, right? I like that.
Walk like a team 없이. Hold up, just keep it cool. We're gone, lights, camera, action. 여기 날 주목해줘. Are you ready?
Production. No.
On the count of three. Walk. Walk. Yeah, that's me. Walking, 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 walking just like this. Turn me up, turn me up. Pose. Pose. Yeah, that's me. Walking, 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 walking just like this. 내 멋대로 walk, 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 walk. Then free walk, 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 walk. Follow me, follow me, follow me.
Yeah, I'm putting this on every playlist that I own. So like on the count of three, the little like giggle and then like walk. It has such good energy in the like pose, the attitude, the confidence. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. It's so good. And I love that it just has this beat that like you definitely could like strut to. Runway music. And I like that it's treated like it's your runway. Who cares if they talk? Make it your show, right? Make you the main character. Why not? I like that it really pulls back like before.
We're going lights, camera, action. 여기 날 주목해줘. Are you ready? Get ready. On a count of 3. Walk.
A little like giggle.
Yeah, that's me.
I love that little descending vocal too.
Yeah, that's me. Walking, 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 walking just like this. 내 멋대로 walk, 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 walk. I'm free. Walk, 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 walk.
The mixing back and forth is crazy too.
Follow me, follow me, follow me. Okay, so coming, coming, let's go moving on. Pew, pew. 네 맘은 rum, pum, 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 pum. 이 음악을 따라 이끌려. 지금 널 막는 건 nothing, nothing. You just feel me now. 순간 네 사이를 피하드는 사실을
Vocals.
이 순간
But like descending like eyes. So catchy as well. I'm sorry. I just so many things. So many things. Like they're having so much fun. I love the like pew pew. We had the pow pow. And then again, like the locked and loaded, a whole song, right? It's like pulling that in, and then the like heartbeat, like rum pum 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 or whatever. But we also had that in a song. Am I not remembering correctly? But anyway, it's like these, like not just the repetition of the walk, follow me, but also again these like onomatopoeias and like fun like rhythm things in the way that they're performing. So good, just fun.
follow me, follow me, follow me. Okay, so coming, coming, let's go moving on. Pew, pew. 네 맘은 rum, pum, 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 pum. 이 음악을 따라 이끌려. 지금 널 막는 건 nothing, nothing. You just feel me now. 순간 네 사이를 피하드는 사실을
Gorgeous vocals.
이 순간에 막혀버려 날 한껏 취해버리겠지. Walk like 거침없이. Hold up, just keep it cool. We're going lights, camera, action. 여기 날 주목해줘.
The production is crazy.
Get ready. On a count of 3. Walk.
Made him stop giggling at me.
Yeah, that's me. Walking, 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 walking just like this. Turn me up, turn me up.
I just feel like I need to be walking.
Me. Walking, 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 walking just like this.
Be dancing at least.
널 비-
Ooh, the little like descending. I also love that they just have like little descending vocal. They're like, yeah, that's me. That's so good too.
like this. Turn me up, turn me up. Pose. Yeah, that's me. Walking, 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 walking just like this. 널 visualize. 모든 게 시작된 night. I'll show you heaven.
I don't know, it's a little ominous for you to be showing me heaven.
완벽한 runway로 만들어 날. Walk, walk,
Bass.
walk, walk. Action, pose, pose. Yeah, that's me. Walking, 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 walking just like this. 내 멋대로 walk, walk. Feel me, feel me. Feel me, feel me now.
Ooh, it's fun.
Feel me, feel me now. Walk, 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 walk. Follow me, follow me, follow me.
I mean, the attitude, I can't, okay? Anything that is strutting music, I'm like absolutely here for. Love some of these descending melodies, some gorgeous vocals just like thrown in there because why not? And I also love some of the like almost like monotone of walk. Like I think that fits so well into some of the like runway, like fashion world, right? But also I just think of like model faces usually like a little bit more serious, a little bit more composed, right? Of the way that if you're like walking a runway, you're not going to be like smiling and like having a ton of character to your face because that's not the purpose of that performance. So very different. And I like how they're incorporating some of that into this as well. But then having that, again, that like descending the, yeah, that's me, and putting some of that in there as well, like some fun things in that like little end section, even though it's like repeating certain things, having different like vocal melodies and different like characters that they're bringing into their voice. It's just like really fun. Oh, this whole album is just so much fun. I'm going to be listening to all of the songs. No skips. I just realized that little, yeah, that's me, is literally a little walk down. That's just good writing. That's just good. for a runway for a song that's about walking. Excellent choice. I think that this album was so much fun overall. I think that it shows so many different parts of their voices, from like rapping and lower tones to like some belting moments to some beautiful like light airy vocals to all those harmonies that we were getting in Promise, to like the attitude and character that they can bring to their voices as well, right? Like so many different like tones and things that they were playing with, whether it's like vocal fry or thinning out the sound. So many good moments in this, and I think that it's fun, and there's some sincerity and there's some confidence and some attitude, but there's also just like fun and not taking it too seriously all the time. And I think that just like perfectly, from what I've noticed so far with ITZY, and obviously I still have some stuff to catch up on, but like that seems to be very much in line with who they are as a group. So I think that it's just so much fun. It was so much fun. I like that this is my first proper comeback with ITZY, and I think that it was just a lot of fun. I loved like the music video too for Girls Will Be Girls. I think that it's just like cinematic but fun and really fit with like, what the song was about and everything. So I had so much fun with this whole thing, and I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. Let me know what your favorite song on this album is. I'll have to think about it. I'll get back to you, but let me know down in the comments, and you can click this playlist to go see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so next time I post an ITZY reaction, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.